Today's recipe is a very colorful one. It's like having Italy on a plate.
From Caprese salad to cottage cheese salad, these two iconic dishes resemble simplicity, a match in heaven, tomato and cheese. I mean, you can never go wrong with these two, right?
But how can we elevate the taste?
Yeah, and try not to overcomplicate things as I always do, I know. Let's have a look. Just by looking at these colors, I picture myself walking on the coast of Capri. The sound of seagulls and the strong smell of sea breeze are taking me on a tour around the island. We were lucky enough to come across such wonderful ingredients in a metropole like London. As far as I am from Italy, I can still enjoy a taste of home. And I think you can all relate at some point. Now, going back to the tomatoes, start cutting them and keep the stems. Can you actually spot how many different kinds we have here? Heirloom beefsteak tomatoes, like the one I cut in the beginning, tiger tomatoes, datterini, lemon boy, and a lot of others. They all taste different and add different textures and colors to the dish. I added my touch to make it more interesting and appealing, so I used more than one kind when it was originally made with the beefsteak tomatoes, which have a typically irregular shape, whose pulp is almost seedless and highly aromatic. As you can see, I'm adding layers of tomatoes and salt in the bowl. This is a very important step for enhancing the flavor of the tomatoes. But it is actually essential to think at the right type of salt as well. I'm using sea salt flakes for its natural and not overpowering flavor. Having ingredients on this simple dish matters. And to be honest, I don't think you can put your hands on all this kind, so just to make it easy, try to find the best quality tomatoes you can get. You know, when I said tomatoes and cheese are a match in heaven, I really meant that, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks this way. Just take a look around the world and you'll be surprised by how many cheese and tomato salads there are. In Russia they have tomato salad seasoned with dill and smetana, which is a sour cream. In Greece you'll find the famous Greek salad with feta cheese and dry oregano. And in Egypt, the one Sarah is making the next episode, she used mint and cottage cheese, and so on. Add the final layer of salt and let's give these beautiful tomatoes a good mix. But try to be gentle for them not to get squashed and leave to rest until we make the dressing. And now the complicated guy comes in action. You might think I'm crazy, but I assure you that these little extra steps I do elevate the flavor dramatically, so just follow my lead. Pour the extra virgin olive oil in a bowl and finally grate a very small clove of garlic. Do not put more as it will affect the overall flavor of your salad. Now take the tomato stems, which we left aside earlier, and squish them with the back of your knife. Cut it in chunky pieces to release the essential oils and strong aroma of the tomato plant. Take one bunch of fresh basil and chop it with the stems on and add it to the bowl. Squash and coarsely chop some black peppercorns. Sprinkle some dry oregano and also chop some fresh leaves. Last but not least, add a touch of grated lime skin and give it a good stir. Leave it aside to infuse covered with cling film for at least half an hour. After the oil is infused, pass it through a fine sieve and squeeze the hell out of them. You really want these aromas to come through. Take the tomatoes, pour out its juices in another bowl, pour the oil in a stream over it and whisk vigorously to emulsify. See how powerful my whisk mixer is? And the serving part begins. Get a nice big serving plate and start playing with the colors. Sort them out in your preferred way. The tomatoes are at room temperature, which allows you to perceive the aromas more intensively. Pour some of the lovely tomato dressing and garnish with some caper berries here and there. Oh, I miss home. I really wanted to show you and give you an idea of how mozzarella cheese is made. Actually, the mozzarella you are seeing on this video are the ones sitting on this table. See how much effort, craft and experience go into this process? They're using fresh cow's milk straight from the farm, salt and water. But trust me, it's way more complicated than that. is working the cagliata, which is the rough mozzarella dough, in 90 degrees Celsius water. I mean, how crazy is that? He keeps stretching it with a flat stick for about 20 minutes until it becomes smooth and elastic and ready to be shaped in so many different ways. The word mozzarella actually comes from the procedure mozzare, which means cutting by hand. This is one of the techniques they are using to shape mozzarella into a ball, also called campagnola. Now he's making burrata, working the dough into a hollow shape and stuffing it with shredded mozzarella mixed with cream, typical from Apulia where I come from. Burrata has nothing to do with caprese salad, but Sara loves it so much and I wanted her to taste the real thing. Well, I ended up with so many different kinds to try. As you can see, I not only have the campagnola, but also the so-called nodini, meaning little knots like how it's shaped. And then I also have a treccia, which is a braid of the same dough. Never serve mozzarella right from the fridge. Always warm up the mozzarella water and put it back for 10 minutes to rest. I know it sounds weird, but we are just trying to bring back that silky and soft textures like when it was freshly made. Add Cerignola green olives from Apulia, again, my touch, but not necessarily, as per the caper berries. Finish it off with some basil leaves so that Sara can start to eat. Well, let me just plate it for her, and I know how she loves a proper crunchy sourdough bread.
I'm a cheese person, just to begin with, and mozzarella for me, burrata, this kind of cheese, just for me, it's heaven. And the amount of different kinds of tomatoes we're having here, spectacular. Yeah. The dressing, the garlic and basil together with olive oil, just heaven. So the bread, take a piece. This is how it should be done, okay? Dip it. Mamma mia! Stefano, make me salad every day, please. Please. You should definitely try this.
Caprese salad, or salad of Capri, this iconic Italian dish comes from the little island of the coast of Naples called Capri. In the 1st century, this island was the playground of the Roman Emperor Augustus, and later on of the Emperor Tiberius. In fact, you can still spot the beautiful ruins of his Villa Jovis, or Jupiter, as a testament of the Roman architecture. The legend says it was Tiberius who first came up with this recipe sometime around the end of the 1st century.
Some say it was Constantino Moffa, a native of Capri. He was working as a manager in a Swiss hotel and he was often having caprese salad for lunch. The chef d'hotel liked it so much and put it on the menu.
Another theory says that this dish was born in the luxurious Capri Hotel Qui Sisana and appeared for the first time on the menu in the 1920s as a tribute to Filippo Tommaso Marinetti. So Caprese is a symbol of futurism. Marinetti had written the Manifesto of Futurist Cuisine, in which he had strongly criticized pasta dishes, who have, in his opinion, and which caused weaknesses, pessimism, and nostalgic inactivity to those who hate it.
Wow. That's the reason he loved caprese salad so much.
I guess so.
There is a debate on when and where the dish actually originated, but there is no doubt that its popularity soared after it's been served to King Farouk of Egypt in the 1950s.
So suddenly it appeared on the menus of the most fashionable restaurants all over the world, becoming one of the most iconic Italian dishes.
So that's it for today, but first,
We would like to thank our lovely suppliers
La latteria.
and Universal Garden for offering us these amazing ingredients.
This dish would have never been the same if it wasn't for them, really.
If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up, subscribe and click on the bell.
And if you really enjoyed it, share it and give us your feedback in the comments below. Grazie per essere stati con noi.
Those who hate it.
That's why we love this.
Yeah.
Stefano, te lo puoi dire ai tuoi clienti? Il mio super li raccoglie alle 3 del mattino per me.
These two.
Grazie per essere con noi.
Tiempo es siempre spragas niñatro.
Okay.
From Italian to Arabic in 1 second.
Chinese actually.